Hello there, East Coasters. This is Melissa from sunny California, as you can see. Originally from the Northwest, in case you're wondering. Anyway, hope you don't mind a silhouette. You're not missing much, except my funny reading glasses. Anyway, this is a post to discuss my experience with the success coaching at Regent University, which I've been using over the last couple of weeks. So I am taking, in addition to the foundations for graduate success, I'm also taking, let me rephrase that. I just finished the level 1 educational therapy course. And it was kind of interesting because I didn't realize it, but I was enrolled in the wrong course, even though I'd signed up for a course whose residency was in Boise. I ended up being signed up for an online course whose residency was in Virginia, which was meeting a week later. So as 4 weeks of online and 1 week of residency, and my 4th week of online overlapped my week of residency, and so week 3 of online was very terrifying for me because it coincided, I think, with week 6, of our class. And so essentially I had 2 classes, which is going to school full-time at a grad school level, and then one of those classes, 2 weeks were overlapped, and then I also work. So I was freaking out. So I called the success coach, and we talked a bit, and it was pretty helpful. I actually talked to him while I was at work. So I have my own business. I'm a house painter. I was inside painting somebody's house, inside painting their basement. So here I am, I've got, I'm all decked out for work, and I got my Bluetooth on, and I'm talking to this success coach about how my priorities feel like I have a lot of stress because my priorities are out of whack, and my time management skills are super taxed, and I just really felt overwhelmed, and I was considering not necessarily quitting, but trying to figure out if there was some way I could get an extension or something. I just didn't know how I was going to do it all. And he was very helpful. I think his name was Ken Riffle, I think. Anyway, I think he's just getting his master's degree in some kind of counseling. So he was actually really helpful because in addition to being a very excellent learner, listener, excuse me, he'd also just learned some techniques that helped me out. So we talked about them. He mostly listened, and then he recommended a few different tracks for me to pursue, and he sent me a couple of very, very short articles. In fact, they were about 1 page. They were just short little snippets. One was about time management, one was about priorities, and one was about online learning. And then he also sent me a video that was helpful from someone that he'd learned about in his class. And although I did not have time to watch those, pretty funny, huh? I didn't have time to watch the video on time management because I was headed to residency immediately after that night, trying to get a bunch of work done in the meantime. On the plane ride home from the residency, I had downloaded those articles and I read them on the plane, and I expected them to be the same things I'd heard a million times before from everybody who's really good at time management. Platitudes, basically. But instead I got some really useful tools. I was very pleasantly surprised and very grateful because one of those tools it's pretty simple. I'm imagining anyone who's been successful at this adventure is really familiar with this, and that it's just simply writing down what you do every day for a week, and then so it's recording everything, and I'm in the process of that right now. Well, not right now, I'm making a video, but this week. And then we're going to analyze it and see where I can make improvements, and then the third step will be to change it. Lord willing, I will. I think the thing that was the most impressive to me was the paper on priorities. It was very short, and it just said, basically you gotta keep number one, and it's not you. It's not what the world tells you. Not that I ever believed that anyway, but the first priority has to be your master, the second priority has to be your mate, and then the third priority has to be your mission. And I have to say that I have multiple missions, and most of them are volunteering. One of them is, putting food in my mouth, and then of course school. And what was happening was that school had become number one, and my relationship with my master was faltering. I don't have a mate, so I don't have to worry about that. But my missions, the other missions were just, they were non-existent. I kept having to cancel appointments, cancel workouts, which, that may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but it is to me, because I don't do well when I sit in front of a computer for 10 plus hours every day, and it was getting to be that way. So anyway, so as a result of this, I'm taking the next session off, because I really feel like my priorities got messed up. I've also learned that I'm never going to take 2 classes at the same time again, as long as I'm working. I mean, if something happens and I don't have to work, that's different, but I have to put food in my mouth. So anyway, all in all, I would say it was very successful. He sent me the stuff, and then we had a follow-up appointment, and we do have another follow-up appointment after I've finished the R and the A sections of the time management, which is the R is the record, which I'm in right now, and then A is the analyze. And so I have another appointment with Ken, I think his name is Ken, and we're going to analyze our stuff together. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the results. I'm also looking forward to 1 class at a time. Yeah, it's good to know your boundaries. Good luck. That's silly to say that, isn't it? May the Lord bless you in your adventures, your graduate school adventures, as he does me. Bye-bye.